皆さん、こんにちは。こちらはリアリです。今、IELTS のスピーキングの Part 3を特に話します。で、話す試験が3つの部分があって、Part 1、Part 2と Part 3があります。今回は Part 3について話して、することとしないことも話しましょう。So let's talk about part 3 and the things that we should do and the things that we should not do in this part of the IELTS speaking. では、始めましょう。Let's get started. So, この試験が、このテストがどのぐらいにかかりますか？これは4か5分ぐらいにかかります。It usually takes for 4 to 5 minutes. ね。で、Part 2と Part 3が何が違いですか？ Part 2は Question card か Q card の中の質問について Students が1か2分ぐらいずっと話してだけどこの Part 3の方がExaminer と Student が対話があってExaminer が Student に何か聞いて、Student も答えて、なんか面接みたいな感じがあります。面接と似てるんですね。Okay, so what are the questions that are usually being asked on part 3? 質問が何種類がありますか？ Okay, so、part 3 questions が、普通は part 3の質問についてが関係があります。It has a relation to part 2 questions. だけど、part 3の方が more abstract level なんですね。抽象的なレベルなんですが、例えば、for example here in part 2, you're being asked about a long journey that you have taken. だから、この part 3が関係があって、この質問ね。Here, for example, do you think the national government should do more to encourage people to spend holidays in their own country? そして、what can be done to persuade people to use less cars and public transport more? でそして、what could the local and national government do to improve public transport in the country? Right? So, as you can see, この3つの質問が、この質問の中について関係があります。Okay? で、part 3が、普通はね、what are the topics that are usually being asked? Well, for example, technology, education, leisure, shopping, cultures, and etc. Now let's talk about the things that we should do in part 3 speaking of the IELTS. 今、この part 3の speaking のすることを話しましょう。とりあえず、first, you have to keep an eye and listen to the important keywords. When the examiner starts asking you questions, you have to listen very carefully, understand the question, so that you will be able to give the appropriate answers. よく聞いて、理解して、正しく答えてください。Next, ask if you weren't able to comprehend, specifically on the question that is being asked of you. So, for example, 例えば、the examiner asks you something, and you pretend that you understand what the examiner is talking about. This is a very big mistake because it might lead you to give the wrong answers. So, it's okay to ask. It is okay to do some clarifications if you don't understand the question. Okay? So, ask so you can give the appropriate answer to the questions. 次はね、next. Okay, here expand answers, give details. set examples, and reason out. So here, mainly, we don't have to give a no and a yes answer only. That is a no. You have to make expansion. You answer questions very well. You have to reason out, as we can see, give details, information. You give some examples, and you have to reason out. Another thing is that stick to the topic. Don't go off the topic. If for example, examiner asks you about sports in tsuite, then mochiron sports no koto dake o hanashite. So talk about sports, anything that involves sports, and don't go off the topic. Okay, think positive. You have to think in a positive way. Dekiru yo, you can do it. If you think positive, you can do very well. Your confidence will boost, and yeah, it will be easier for you to recall all the things that you have studied for the speaking part of the IELTS. Another thing is here, enhance your vocabulary in advance. 4 of the components which I've mentioned, they are going to mark you with 1, which is tango, vocabulary. You have to study vocabulary in advance. Learn some words that are unfamiliar to you. Deku no kotoba ga bunot tsukutte. You make a sentence, there. You will not forget it. You will recall, you will remember the words that you have used, and you can use it when you do your speaking exam in the IELTS. So learn more advanced words, high-level words, and use it. And you can get a good grade, a good mark in this part of the IELTS. Next, relate questions to your own experiences. So here, it is really good to answer spontaneously about your experiences. So you can use your own life and personal experiences. And I think I've mentioned as well that in the event that you are not sure about the future, or you haven't thought about what you wanted to do, of course you can make things up. You can steal your friend's experiences and talk about it, make it your own experience. That is okay as long as they can mark you with any basis. As long as you speak in English and express yourself in English, that is fine. Okay, next. Okay, here. This is important. Use modals. For example, what are modals? For example, can, could, may, might, should. Okay, like for instance, you may be asked about considered as your best friend. So your response is like this. Maybe siblings may make a good best friends, like that. So yes, it is really good to use these modals that we have. Okay. Finally, the use of opinion expressions. What are opinion expressions? There are a lot of examples for opinion expressions. Most of the time, we tend to overuse the word I think. So you say, I think all over again. So you might as well use opinion expressions like, in my opinion, from my point of view, or as far as I am concerned. These are really good expressions to use as an alternate when you're trying to deliver your sentences. Now let's look at the things that we shouldn't do in part 3 speaking of the IELTS. So, 今はしないことを話しましょう. First, okay, don't memorize your answers. It is not advisable to memorize your answers. When you deliver your response and it seems like it is scripted and canned, it might sound really funny. Rather, you have to focus on enhancing your vocabulary. In this case, when they ask you a question, you can answer spontaneously. Next, don't be bothered. Don't be worried if you make a mistake. The examiner expects you to make a mistake. That is fine. In the event that you make a mistake, you can correct it. If you can do so, go ahead. But if it takes time to correct your mistake and it might lead you to making more mistakes, and just leave it. Okay? 間違ったら続いて。It's okay. Next. Don't go far beyond the topic. Okay? Don't go far beyond the topic. Stick to whatever the topic is. For example, they ask you about sports. So you should talk about what the topic is about sports. Next. Okay, don't use much verbal fillers. Verbal fillers such as these. Okay, so this might sound very annoying. The examiner or the people listening to you might not be able to focus on what you want to deliver or what you want to say. They are distracted with your uhs and your ums. So the message may not be clear to them, and you might lose some points in this part of the IELTS. Next, don't overuse I think. Okay, this phrase I think. Instead of that, you might as well use these alternative phrases, like for example, in my opinion, I consider, in my regard, I believe, or it's clear, it's obvious that, etc. For example, you can say, in my opinion, education is the best policy, like that. Okay, finally, do not worry about having an accent. Non-native speakers have variety and different accents that we cannot deny. You might worry about how you speak, like you have some flaws in your R and L sounds, which is really common. Don't worry about that. Rather, focus on how you speak in a clear way and in a normal pace. So even though you have an accent, as long as the examiner understands what you're talking about, then they can give you a mark in this part of the IELTS. Okay, so I hope that these tips will help you to do better in the IELTS exam. Okay, では、good luck! ありがとうございました。